Hey, everybody. Welcome to the latest installment of MSP Business School. And I'm Brian Doyle. And as always, I'm joined here today with Tim McNeil and Robb Rogers. How you guys doing today?
Doing well.
How about
Doing
you?
well. No complaints. No complaints. I heard, Robb, you are officially COVID inoculated.
I am. Saturday.
You.
It was a tough go for a day there, but I'm free. Not
Nice.
clear yet. I'm still in my 2 weeks, but I'm free.
How about yourself, Tim? Are you closing in on that?
Had the second, was just a disaster last Friday, but it only lasted a day, and then I'm fine.
Yeah. You guys are soft. I got 2 shots. I was living like a champ, man. But anyhow, with that said, I'd like to welcome to our show today Doug Lowenthal from TruTechnology down in Jacksonville, Florida. And, I've had the privilege of getting to know Doug a little bit over the last 6 to 8 months now, maybe even a little bit longer. I lose track of time. And I'm really excited that he's able to join us today on the show. How you doing today, Doug?
Good. I appreciate you having me.
Good. You officially COVID-free as well?
Actually got COVID just 2 months ago now.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm in that like 6 month period.
Yeah, you're in that period. Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Do you have a rough go of it, or was it the common? It felt like a little bit of a cold type situation.
No, it was actually my whole family got it. Me, my wife, and my son. And
Oh, wow.
Me and my wife, we both had the chest pressure thing. It was pretty scary, but we found some steroids, and fortunately it didn't progress. But we got through it. So now we're licking doorknobs and ready for anything.
Well, I'm glad you're okay.
As they say, you live down in Florida. I think you were doing that anyway, right?
Yeah.
But with that said, Doug, what we'd love to do is kind of kick it off by learning a little bit more about you and your company. So tell us a little bit about how you got started overall, and what led you to launching TruTechnologies.
Okay. All right. Great. Holy cow! I'm going to peel back the archives here, but. I started the business in 2002. Had that momentary lapse of reason, thinking because I knew how to do the technical work, thought I could run a company doing the technical work. But so I would say for the first 10 years, I pretty much worked for a lunatic myself, just doing the job, and wasn't really, didn't know much about marketing or sales or finance or taxes for that matter. That was a hard lesson to learn. I got through it. And it was probably, been in business 18 years now. We're now a legal adult. And probably, 5-6 years ago, really made the decision to grow it in a healthy way, and hired on our, first sales team member other than myself. And being accountable to someone, for sales results was pretty transformational. And, and it was a great journey. It's been a great journey. And now we're up to 19 team members. We're just about 5 million in top line revenue, and have a great team, great client base, and it's been a fun ride.
Wow, congratulations! A lot of people aspire to get to that level. That's great.
Yeah. No, thank you. No, it's good. It's you got to take the learning curve with a bit of chagrin, because it's as you scale. And I know there's companies that are significantly larger than ours, but these new challenges that we run up against, we actually get excited about, because we wouldn't experience them if we weren't growing. So it's actually like a fun challenge.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I
So
get that.
talk a little bit about what you guys are doing over at TruTechnologies now, and what are some of the initiatives you got going into 2021 as we kind of come out of the COVID times?
Oh boy. Okay. We have too many annual priorities. Our strategy coach would tell us, if you have more than 3 priorities, you have none. So he would argue we have none. But it's interesting. Right now, obviously, security is a big focus, as well as just mobility in general, with the whole work from home push, and waiting to see what's going to happen in the commercial real estate market, and if people truly start going back, or what going back looks like. So our initiatives are kind of in tune with that. I mean, obviously we're trying to be stronger financially, and dial in how we're managing all of that, but then also developing new offerings to kind of address the market need around those things. So we're fortunate enough to have hired on a CISP on staff, and we're building out a cybersecurity aspect, and fractional vCISO services, and then also made a cloud play, and we're offering, virtual desktop type solutions now. So now it's about, how do we bring all that stuff to market and kind of sell and market in this kind of post-COVID world that we're in now.
How are you finding the market for virtual desktops? Are you seeing folks more interested in it now as we've moved to this remote workforce kind of format? Because, I found that to be something that had a lot of resistance for a long time, but, I also was in it in the early stages of that virtual desktop environment too. So I'm curious to see how that progressed.
Yeah, we're still, I guess, fairly early in it. I mean, we really pivoted hard back in March of last year, like everyone did.
Yep.
And built it out. We eat, live, and we live in it ourselves. We have several clients that have already made the migration. It's interesting because if you look at traditional managed services before, it's really intangible. More service-based kind of background work, and you have to constantly show your value. This is an environment that they're working in every day, and it's kind of product-ish. So it's pretty cool when you're doing, kind of. I try not to emphasize it too much from a sales perspective, but when you show someone the capabilities and ability to work securely from anywhere, and how we do this thing where we'll like have an iPad and we'll literally pull up the Windows 10 desktop, from one place to another, and you could see like there's literally a moment where the light bulb pops, and they're just like, holy cow, wait a second. And then it's pretty cool now for the clients that are in it. They're now looking to say, hey, we can hire staff in any part of the country, at lower price points. They can work from home. We don't have to worry about security. They can literally get turned up, same day, next day, and they're operational. So I'd say price point wise, technology wise, I think it's kind of come together for the SMB space. There's a lot of security that has to get layered on top of it and a lot to get managed, but I think it's kind of come together, and we're excited about the direction. Every client renewal that we have today, that's our lead offering, and kind of where we want to take them.
I tell you, I hate the fact though that everybody figured out that they can hire people anywhere in the country, because that used to be our competitive advantage.
Yeah, that did. There is no doubt it is that has changed the landscape, right? So the
completely
virtual desktop, I can see that being. It's going to be a big one. It's going to be the next transformation, I think, or transition for a lot of companies.
Yeah, it's interesting when we had, companies obviously go straight work from home, especially there was in our county in Jacksonville, they mandated it for a period of time, and their offices were inherently turned into data centers. That's where the servers were for where the traditional, so they're connecting in from there, and I think opened their eyes up that they don't have to be in the office with the gear. And then when they go back, the gear doesn't have to be in the office. So it's, that's been the case a long time, obviously, the data center services and things, but this is much more transformational than that.
I think what it really is, it's come downstream now to the mainstream, right? It's hit Main Street, where that used to be something that was really only understood by the enterprise companies who were forced to have people geographically spread out, even if it was satellite offices, right? But now the rank and file know that this can happen. And certainly everybody loves the concept of working at home whenever they can, right? So it's a big transformation. So, with that, I think we want to segue into a little bit about some of the big stories that help shape you and shape your company. And I think you got one that you want to share about when you had a little something that you had to do personally, and it really ended up changing how your business was. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was about, around 3 years ago now, 2.5, 3 years ago, that, we decided to make the move and buy a new home and transition there. And, the buyer we were purchasing from, asked for several months, it was interesting, where the real estate market was a few years ago. So we, immediate sale of our current home, had to move into a rental while we were waiting to close on the new one. But that was obviously, very chaotic personally. I moved twice, packing everything up in storage. It was crazy, but it kind of forced me for the first time in, 18 years of business to step away from the company and not really check in every day and everything. And with that, my I refer to them now as my leadership team, but I had some key team members that were with me for years, and, that had stepped up in a huge way. And it was just amazing to see when I got out of their way, how innovative they were, and how well they worked together. And I think that was, you always hear that, the owner is, prevents growth and,
Yep.
These things, these stories, these myths. But it actually turned out to be true for me. And, when I actually got out of my leadership team's way, some incredible things happened in the organization. And that's where, from that moment, that was, about 3 years ago, like I said, from that point forward, we've doubled our top line revenue, we tripled our profitability. And I attribute that a lot to them and their ability, to execute and innovate and get things done, and I still, have to remind myself often not to get back in their way again. So, but fortunately, I told them this story, and now they remind me to not get in their way.
Boy.
Yeah.
Well, they say oftentimes, right? Even more than money, people want to be empowered, and you'll be amazed what you get out of them when you do that. And
Right.
it ends up being a win-win on both sides, right? They get empowered, they take more ownership, that breeds more loyalty, and for you, it frees you up to grow the business, which, if that's done right, can be a reward back to them, either an advancement opportunity or maybe bonus time, right? So that's awesome.
So I got a question. Yeah. So like in that, I could imagine that was unbelievably stressful for you, right? All the personal stress you had going on, plus as a business owner, we're all business owners. That's very nerve-wracking to give up control, and you were forced to do it. How did you find a way to make sure that the house wasn't falling around you, and make sure your team was doing what they needed to do without you micromanaging them, right? And from stress.
No, great question. So yes, there was a lot of process that had to be put in place, but we implemented team lead systems. So each department had a team lead that represented that department. We set up a weekly team leads meeting, and then each department, we've always been KPI driven, but we established kind of KPIs that represented the health of that department. And it's interesting when you look at it, KPI that way, to be able to share, amongst team members. So we have a weekly team leads, and this has been going on for years now. So it got to a point where I can come in for a day, attend the team leads meeting, attend my leadership meeting, get really in tune, give them some feedback on maybe some direction or some things, and kind of just back out of their way. And so that was, that was implemented during that time and really helpful. So team leads, leadership, and we continued that cadence ever since then.
Wow. So like a scorecard type of number system. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. It's, you look at, because you can see just by kind of looking at the numbers of, are you hitting the guardrails, and, and as we continue to scale, being up to 19 people now, the teams working together more cohesively, and then giving them a forum even to raise interdepartmental workflow issues in a healthy and productive way so we can navigate them together. So we follow EOS methodology and
that's too
kind of level 10, meeting and we'll IDS some things in that meeting, and it's proven productive.
Very nice.
So,
cool. Do you guys use that 90.io product?
We do.
We use that too. We find that very helpful as well.
It's a pretty effective tool.
Yeah, for EOS.
Yeah, we're learning how to better use it. I mean, you can even do one-on-one reviews in it, So this is actually when we rolled out that product, that was the first time that everyone in the company got to see our company, quarterly rocks. It was always at the leadership level. So that was the first time they could log in. They could not only see what the annual priorities are, the vision traction organizer, the 3-year vision, everything, but they could also see where we are and executing on it and the different members, that are part of that. So that was full visibility. It was pretty interesting to roll that out to the organization, and it created a higher level of accountability, which was good.
Yep. Very nice.
Absolutely.
So I think we're getting near the end of our session for today, Tim. Maybe you want to segue into our speed round.
Yeah. So we just have 5 quick questions. Just kind of the first thing that comes to your mind. A couple are multiple choice. A couple are little deeper in multiple choice, but not much. So first one is talk, text, or Teams.
Oh boy. Okay. First Teams. And if that doesn't work, talk. And if that doesn't, it kind of goes down the line. Talk is last.
Yeah.
Teams, you follow me.
Yeah. Music, movies, or TV?
Movies.
Okay. What age do you want to retire?
What time is it right now?
Yeah. 47. 3:48-ish.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Yeah.
I'm 44. So I think that with our current track and what's happening, retire. I don't know what that word means, but as far as kind of pivoting to another chapter, I'm probably 3-4 years out, from. But the security space excites me so much that I could see a pivot towards MSSP, and maybe that's the next chapter of the career path for me.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Well,
Mac or Windows?
100% Windows.
If you could do anything outside of tech, what would it be?
I would be a mixologist. I love making cocktails.
Well, now you're segueing into what I wanted to make sure that we talked about before we got to the end.
I do have an unofficial sixth. What's your whiskey?
Go to. Well, Angel's Envy Rye, is kind of the go-to grab.
That's good.
Good. Yeah, I mean, but any pappy you can get your hands on. But
yeah.
Stuff. Yeah. My wife won't let me buy those bottles just yet. I'm working on it.
So you segued into it. We're going to make sure, Doug, if you don't mind, we're going to pop up a picture of your speakeasy in the recording of this, because I think people need to see what an amazing job you've done on that. Yeah. But what spurred you to go take a media room and turn it into a speakeasy, and how'd you win that battle?
It was a joint effort, but I mean, during COVID, you're locked down of everything. I mean, we worked from home as a company for 6 months, and you're sitting there like looking around the house, and it got to the point where we were like in the front yard with a pair of scissors, trimming the hedges. What do you do? So we decided, let's build a bar, which was always a dream of ours. And it was as it kind of started evolving. It started as a whiskey bar, and then my wife came to me and she's like, "What do you think about doing like a 20s Prohibition era speakeasy theme?" And then it got really exciting from there. So we continue to run with it. It's been a blast.
Is it going to be one of those projects that's always in progress, or have you guys turned the corner on this one?
If it was up to me, the answer would be yes. But I think my wife is forcing me to shift my attention. We're doing the pool right now, the backyard. So, I might go back there at some point. My son's going to USF in the fall, and we're joking around that his room is going to get repurposed as a expansion of the speakeasy. So.
Yeah, gotta have like a hidden door to get into it and stuff.
If he's anything like my daughter's, I think we're actually supposed to cellophane it off and keep it as a shrine, but that's neither here nor there.
He was very upset that I have multiple plans for his room.
Awesome. So, Doug, as we wrap up today, any closing thoughts? Anything else you want to add before we break away for today?
No, I think it's it's interesting. Just a couple of points, for other MSP business owners out there, on my journey, and every journey is unique, but the hiring of that first salesperson that made me accountable to someone else around their goals, and then it's like as business owners, we look in the mirror every day and we have to hold ourselves accountable, but then kind of looking at your team, and the part that I didn't mention, Rob, in that question you asked was about giving others the capability to fail forward. I think I created this environment through pure stress and effort that I was the only one that was allowed to fail in the company. And, of course, you got to protect data, and you got to do those things to, if a team member does do something, that's not in alignment, that it can't hurt your clients or your revenue. But with that, though, you have to, once you get those things kind of in check, which you can do, then you can create a safe environment for them to learn, just like you've learned and how you grew your business. So I think that's an important thing to share.
Yeah.
Well, very nice.
Yeah,
very good.
Well, Doug, this has been a pleasure, sir. For anyone that is looking to get in touch with Doug, we will be including his LinkedIn profile and that cool bar in the picture on the podcast. So please check that out. Also, this episode will be on MSPBusinessSchool.com and anywhere you get your podcast. Doug, appreciate it as always, fellas. A pleasure.
Yeah,
always.
Thanks for your time.
Brian, I think that was I don't know if I trusted you there on that one.
Yeah. But anyhow, another great episode. And Doug, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
if I can help anyone, my contact's out there. So feel free to reach out.
Awesome.
Sure thing.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.